Next up is a team that was on top, the Philadelphia Eagles, who not only won the NFC East, they won the Super Bowl last year. And Dalton, a big reason why, they dominated in the trenches.
It's what Howie Roseman does. I mean, he's got consistently an elite offensive line and an elite deep defensive line. They're obviously replacing some pieces, Josh Sweat, Milton Williams on that D-line, but we have a lot of faith that they're going to replace those guys. Even Mekhi Becton leaving at right guard. They're going to find somebody capable of playing that right guard spot at probably a similar level. Becton hovered around a 70 grade last year. They're going to find at least a solid starter, whether if it's Tyler Steen internally, if it's Matt Pryor, if it's somebody else on the inside there. I mean, just look at the studs that they still have, right? Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Lane Johnson on the offensive line. Then you've got Jalen Carter, right? You've got Nolan Smith. You've got Moro Ajomo, Jordan Davis on the inside, even with Williams leave. They replenish it every year in the draft. It's just this team is the embodiment of winning in the trenches, O-line and D-line first and foremost, and then surround everything else around it.
PFF's number 1 offensive line in the NFL going into next year, and the number 2 defensive line in the NFL going into next year too. And one guy who really benefits from that outstanding offensive line is Saquon Barkley, who led the NFL with over 2,500 rushing yards, including the playoffs last year. 55 explosive runs were the most in the NFL. He's got the ability to hit a home run at any point right now, and he was a great running back in New York, but Dalton, with an elite offensive line in front of him in Philadelphia, he had his best year of his career.
He never had a unit like that blocking for him
in
the Meadowlands, and he's always been that talented. That's why he was a top 5 pick out of Penn State. And he had some really darn good years for the Giants, but you look at the volume that he got last year and what he was asked to do, especially in the fourth quarter, where he basically led all running backs in every stat in the fourth quarter last year. Behind this offensive line, he was able to stay fresh. He wasn't hit as much as you think he would be. He had all those explosive runs, and then he carried this. He was the closer. I think that's what you look at with Barkley. This team gets ahead, and they hand it off to Barkley as the closer. I think the only thing for me that would be a slight worry is the volume that he did get last year can be tough to sustain year over year, but man, behind that offensive line, he's certainly got a shot.
And 2 guys who were rookies last year, Dalton, and that defense that really improved a coverage unit that kind of struggled in 2023.
It struggled big time in 2023. I believe they were 28th in coverage grade the year before, and they went up to first last year with the hiring of Vic Fangio. And then, look, some people looked at him funny. Of course, they shouldn't look at Howie Roseman funny any time in the draft. But last year's draft, when they took 2 corners with their first 2 picks, you go, okay, how's that going to fit? And I'm sitting here like, well, DeJean's going to play in the slot and Quignon's on the outside. They'll be fine. And they sure were. Cooper DeJean, highest graded corner in football last year. Quinyon Mitchell was 9th. An immediate mastery of Vic Fangio and that zone defense, that too-high defense that he runs. They don't give up explosive plays. DeJean especially was just spectacular. I mean, they were by far, 2 years ago, the worst slot coverage team in the league. Last year they were, I believe, 3rd. With DeJean running the show there. I mean, those 2 guys, Quinyon, and I know it's funny because we got through these 3 reasons and we didn't get a mention of Jalen Hurts in, but Jalen Hurts to me feels like it's kind of constant, right? Like we know what Jalen Hurts is. We didn't know what this secondary was last year. Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell made this an elite secondary, and it should be that again this year.
Absolutely, yeah. If the Eagles trying to do the impossible, win the NFC East in back-to-back years, which hasn't been done in a very, very long time, but the Eagles are still Super Bowl contenders right now, and they should still expect to win their division in 2025.